Hey guys, Cameron Allen here from CameronAllenMusic.com. Today I've got a fun little alternate picking exercise that I want to share with you guys. So when students are learning alternate picking, it's really common to start with 3-note per string patterns because they lay out really nicely on the fretboard. So for example, if we're playing over a C7 chord, you might play the C mixolydian scale or the C mixolydian mode, and in this area of the fretboard it might be laid out like this. So we're playing 3 notes on each string. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So one thing that I like to do to try to make it sound a little more interesting and a little bit less predictable is to try to vary where I'm making the changes between strings. So the pattern that I'm going to show you guys is actually a 9-note pattern. So it's fairly long before it repeats, but it repeats in a way that kind of makes it sound kind of unpredictable, and it allows you to add accents in places that really make it sound cool. So let me just first show you the pattern and then I'll kind of break it down. So the pattern slowly would go like this. The descending version would look like this. So let's take a look at that ascending version again really slowly. So the complete 9-note pattern is going to go like this. And then we would repeat that same pattern on the next string. Then on the next string. Then. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to start on the low E string, and since we have 3 notes per string, we're going to have a low, middle, and high on each string, right? So the pattern is going to start on the low E string with the high note, low note, middle note, high note. Then we come to the next string and we play middle, low. Then we come back to the low E string and play middle, high. And then we go back to the A string once more and play the low note. And that completes the 9 notes. So then we would repeat that same pattern again, but now we would be starting on the A string and going up to the D string. So we would have high, low, middle, high. Go up to the next string and play middle, low. Come back to the A string and play middle, high. And then go back to the D string once more and play the low note. Okay, then we would just keep repeating that pattern on each string. Right, then. And then. Okay, so again, starting at the low E string, we would have. Okay, then we would. And then we do it again. So then when we put it all together, without any pauses, we end up getting something like this. Now it doesn't matter whether you start with an upstroke or a downstroke. Each time that you repeat the pattern, you're going to be alternating. So if you started with a downstroke on the low E string, then when it's time to repeat the pattern on the A string, you would be starting with an upstroke. So it alternates every time. And I really love this pattern because it trains both inside picking and outside picking. Now let's take a look at the descending version of this pattern. So the descending version is literally just a mirror image of the ascending version. So we're going to start with the low note, and then we're going to play the high note, middle note, low note on the high E string like this. Then we're going to come to the next string, the B string, and we're going to play middle, high. Then we're going to go back to the high E string and play middle, low. And then come to the B string and play the highest note. And that completes the pattern. So again, it's... And then we would repeat the pattern, now starting on the B string. Then we would repeat it again. Then again. And then once more. So all together, we would have... So this can be good to practice ascending and descending together. To combine them together into kind of one continuous exercise, I would play it something like this. Now, I recommend using a metronome when you're practicing this. I suggest playing it 10 times without making a mistake before you bump up the metronome to the next level of speed. So start with a manageable tempo, something that isn't too difficult, that you feel like you can do with relative ease, and make sure that you're playing it in a very relaxed way. Now, it's really, really important to not focus on the speed, really, but to focus on getting a clean note every pick stroke. Just make sure that you're getting a nice, clean sound. And then, once you're able to do that and play everything nice and cleanly, and you can do that 10 times without making a mistake, then you're ready to move up the speed on the metronome. And I don't recommend making big leaps at a time. It kind of depends on where the tempo is set, but generally 5 to 10 BPM is probably good. Okay, so then once you're able to do that 10 times without making a mistake, then bump it up a little bit more. And each time, make sure that you're feeling relaxed physically. Sometimes it's natural to, when we're concentrating on something mentally, very intensely, sometimes that translates to physical tension in the body. And so it's really important to be aware of that and to pay attention to it so as to avoid it, because it doesn't need to be so. And in fact, tension in the body is really the enemy of speed when it comes to guitar technique. That's another one of the benefits of kind of gradually increasing the speed, is that you're never making some gigantic leap that's going to, require a massive change in your technique. It's all going to come very, very gradually. And if you can play it at one tempo, in a very relaxed manner and very cleanly, then you won't really have to make that much of an adjustment to speed it up by 5 or 10 BPM. Okay, guys, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell icon so that you're notified of new videos when I put them out. And if there's any topics or questions that you guys want me to cover, feel free to ask questions down in the comment box below. I'll be back for another video very soon, but until then, you guys take care and happy shredding.